Martin, why are people so boring?
Well, they are, aren't they? Everybody's boring apart from us, of course. Anyway, you have to start with the basic thing that drives people, which is a survival drive. And we're all interested in our own survival. We're not interested in anybody else's survival. And in fact, there's a wonderful little bit in one of Schopenhauer's works where he says if we were given the choice between our own survival and the survival of the planet, we choose our own survival. Anyway, so we start with the survival drive. And part of that drive is the need to dominate. Nobody wants to be the last man in the queue. Nobody wants to be the last to get things or whatever. We want to dominate. We want to be the first. So there's this need to dominate, and people, in order to dominate, try to brag about things and to boast. There's a wonderful line in Spinoza where he says, people boast of the strength of their body and mind and bore one another. So, if you're with someone who's boasting and you're not the least bit interested in them, that's going to be painful, isn't it? Because they're going to be trying to diminish you. That's what boasting is. Boasting is an aggressive act. It's not just some unpleasant thing, just some horrible habit someone's got. It's an aggressive act to try and put you down. That's why people boast about things. So you won't want to hear about somebody else's promotion, their new house, their holidays. Least of all do you want to look at their holiday photographs. You don't want to hear about the weddings they've been to or whatever. You don't want to hear about all that stuff. You're interested in yourself. So the more someone tries to impress you with the wonderful things that are happening in their life, the more boring they're going to be. And guess what? The more you look like you're bored, the more they will try and impress you. It's a vicious circle. The problem is that social media has made this ability to brag and boast so much easier. So why do people put photographs of going for a meal? I've never been able to understand that. Yes, it's a meal, it's a plate of chips and egg, or if you're posh, it's some kind of steak and fancy vegetables. But why do you post that on Facebook? Well, food is a basic survival item. So if you can show that you've got plenty of food and that you're eating at posh restaurants with good quality food, you are saying to people, I am surviving and I'm surviving well. And maybe you're not. What is it, that Martin on The Simpsons? So, the other thing they post are pictures from their holidays. I remember one person showed me their holiday pictures. You view them out of politeness, don't you? But you don't view them because you want to see them. Anyway, holiday pictures, and I would say half the pictures were of this character in the swimming pool with a glass of champagne. It was supposed to portray affluence. I'm doing well, I've got a glass of champagne. Yeah, it's probably, $2 champagne from the local corner shop or something. Anyway, so people are on social media posting just about anything that they think is going to outdo everybody else. Look at this lovely meal I'm eating. Look at this fantastic vacation. Look at me with all my friends. I'm one of the herd animals. You're not. So that's what they're saying. So it's hardly surprising that we bore each other because there's, that wonderful quote from Spinoza, people want to show the strength of their body and mind, and they bore one another. If you could just have a normal conversation with people, and it does happen, particularly amongst younger people, who haven't, really got into the big machine, the big, I've got a house, I've got a car, I go out for fancy meals, all that kind of nonsense. Anyway, the people who tend to boast the most are insecure people. They need to, in some way, establish themselves. And in fact, you could almost see boasting as a sign of a lack of social standing or a lack of power. Because somebody who's got everything they want, who, is quite well off, thank you, does what they want to do, isn't typically going to stand around boasting. And so they might be slightly more interesting people if they're not boasting. They might even want to listen to you. And you can do the boasting. So, the reason we bore one another is because we're trying to get approval from other people, we're trying to impress other people, we're trying to dominate other people through our boasting and through our inability to listen to anybody else, because basically we're not interested in anyone else.